Today I want to talk to you about the fundamental of marketing. What makes marketing work? What's the very first thing you need to do with marketing? What is the seed which then grows everything else, and without it, nothing grows? Well, basically it's like you can grow a watermelon, but it doesn't grow or it has no nutrition in it or something like that, okay? You get the point. We need to have a good, healthy seed, a good foundation, otherwise the house cracks and it just will not work. If you do not have that seed, you will spend marketing dollar. Basically, it's kind of like you will put good money after bad money. Nothing will work anymore. From whatever profession you have a similar thing in your profession. Okay? If a doctor doesn't clean out the wound from all the whatever he's supposed to clean it out, a root canal, clean the dirt out. No matter what he does afterwards, it will flare up again, it will not work. If a guy builds a house and he constructs it on quicksand, it will not work. So, what is the seed? The seed is to turn advertising, I am good, I am cheap, I have this, blah, 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 whatever it might be, into not marketing, into not advertising. We, since 25 years, call that unadvertising, all right? And what is that? That's a storytelling. You need to put your product, you need to put your service into a story. If you say, well, that's easier said than done, maybe true, maybe not, but we do it for you anyway. However, in the process, you should also learn it. And some of you are maybe naturally good at it. I don't know. Anyway, you need to put it into a story. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So a story which is accompanied with a picture is even better. In today's technology, that's very possible. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. There are two types of stories. One is a story about your service and your product. Very, very important. Instead of saying, I'm a good dentist, I have the most advanced equipment, and I go to continuous education all the time and buy my service because I'm also cheap and I'm around the corner. That is advertising. Nobody will ever think twice about it. Maybe they come in, some of them. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying it hasn't some value. What I'm saying is it gets forgotten. It doesn't get remembered, and it doesn't get shared. Okay? Now let's talk about the second type of story. That's a story which is community involvement. That's a story which involves your potential prospect. That's a story which has little or nothing to do with your service or your profession. Okay? That's a story which, however, comes from your business and you, whoever and whatever is more known, or both of it. It comes from you and it goes to community. It's a story where the person out there who is potentially your prospect and or not, doesn't matter, but any person out there can feel that this story could be about him. This story is about the community. He can relate to this story. This is community involvement. And you don't, because of it, need to be involved. It just needs to be a story. Again, we are great at doing that. This is what we do for 25 years. However, so these two stories need to be first done. If that isn't there, any advertising money will be not worth less, but it will be worth a lot less than otherwise. It will not go as far. These two types of stories will be not only remembered by the people seeing it for a long time. So if 1 year later, 6 months later, whatever the time might be, they finally decide that they need or in want of your service, they'll remember you. Way, way more than with advertising. Of course, the different stories should go out all the time. Just like with any advertising. Just look at Coca-Cola. It's a big principle, over and over and over and over and over. Now, if it's over and over and over a story, and by the way, even Coca-Cola makes stories. Okay, so here we go. Okay, the story will not only be remembered, but it will be shared. And in today's world, now we have sharing going on, which is so much easier for the people, and they love to do it so much more than ever before. Forget about the word of mouth. the way patients or clients would sometimes talk to some people. That is going down constantly. Why? Because they're not talking anymore that way. That type of communication is going away. More and more. Bad, good, indifferent, it doesn't matter. If you write a story, you differentiate yourself from everyone else. Okay, now the story due to new technology gets shared. Let me put in here one thing. Marketing hasn't changed in 5,000 years. The principle I just talked about hasn't changed in 5,000 years, from Buddha to Jesus till today. The way we communicate, however, the storytelling, that was important all the time. The way we communicate the story, the way we spread the story, the way we disseminate the story, and the way other people pass the story on. Now that has changed. That is changing on almost a daily basis. Daily slightly exaggerated, but a year is not exaggerated, not at all. We do not talk anymore on the phone today the way we used to. We text. We do not even write email anymore the way we used to. We use Facebook and other things. You might not. 1.5 billion people do it, and 80% of Americans. You have companies like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google becoming enormously rich because the United States and the rest of the world is using this type of communication. You don't use it, and you're gonna. Okay? And it's going to be a dwindling spiral, a speeding up dwindling spiral from here on. Well, it was already for a long time ago, more and more not catching on. However, catching on to it, since lots of small businesses will not catch on to it, and if they do catch on to it, they do it without the foundation, without the seed. They do it without the storytelling, without the two types of storytelling. Ladies and gentlemen, what I just told you depends on your business. Can and will be worth $1 million. Right here, right now, right then. Well, over time. No investment is more important than this investment. You couldn't possibly make the money even if another Facebook comes around. Okay? Then putting it into the right way, into your own company's marketing. Marketing is not an expense, it's an investment, and done rightly, the best in the world. Give us a call. Set an evaluative consultation. A consultation where we show you, teach you, answer your questions, if you have any. A consultation where if you do not take our service, we do every work, you do basically nothing except agreeing to things, and we need to find out some stuff about you. But you and your staff doesn't do work. We turn everything in your story. We turn your professional story, we turn the community stuff in your story. We put it out there, we make it shared, we do all the type of things. You couldn't possibly actually do it by yourself. If you happen to be, let's say, a car mechanic, could you be building a car from scratch and make it as good and as fast and as cheap as Toyota or BMW can do it? You can't do it because you don't have the equipment for it. This is the same, and things change so fast. If you think your profession changes, which I'm sure it does, I'm very sure it does, well, let me tell you, the communication things changes faster, as you well know when you just look in the news. Okay? It is phenomenal, and you better get on the bandwagon. We'll really help you with it. So even if for some reason you do not want our phenomenal service about we do the work and we actually make marketing working for you, you will learn so much. So wherever else you go, you'll be a lot better informed. And we are living in information age. Go to the website, see you there, and all the very, very best with your marketing. Just keep in mind, the storytelling works. Bye-bye.